Hello and welcome everyone. So today I'm going to teach you how to make this outline brush. I just want to go over an overview of what the features are. So whatever color you pick in your color picker over here is going to be the color that's the outline. So just to show you, if we pick a different color, that's what I mean. Now, the inside is going to be whatever your background is. So right now that's white. If I change the color of that, you can see that it's red, or whatever color you want. But it's always going to show the background through. So it's not white inside, it's clear basically. But anyway, that is that. So I'm going to change that back to white. Then, if you notice, when I was writing this, I had to pick up my pencil and make the crossbar for the T, and I took that through the L and made it a dot for the I as well. Anytime you pick up your pencil, it's going to have this, it's going to kind of overlap with the one underneath, because again, this is clear inside, it's not white. So the problem there is, if you like the look of this, that's fine, but you'd have to go in and erase all these marks. Oops. You'd have to go in and erase all these marks in order to not see them, where it's kind of more natural. I'm doing this very quickly right now. Obviously very sloppy, but you get the idea. You'd have to come in here and erase all these marks in order for it to not have any of those. But you can also do something more. See, if I took that one away, you can do something a little more artistic, where it looks like it's going through the L now, where this part of it's in front of the L and this part's in back of the L. You can do something like that. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, depending on what you erase. But anyway, that is the outline brush. So we're gonna make a few different versions. I'll just kind of show you. That was the original one. This one, you see, is actually a thicker outline around a thinner stroke. And then this one is the opposite, where it's a thinner outline with a thicker stroke compared to this one. Oops. And then the last one I made was a color dynamic one. So picking a color, doesn't really matter. But I have it right now where it cycles through all of the hues, but you see you can get a colorful outline, and again, you can adjust that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if this is the first video you're watching of mine or of anyone else's that deals with color dynamics, I went through that in the Brush Studio Part 2 video, and I also have done that in a few of the brushes I've made after that. So if you want a review of how to do that, you go to Brush Studio Part 2. And you can make all different kinds of effects with color. But these are the versions I made in this video. So let's get started. All right, so we're learning about dual brush. So just to show you an example first before we make our own, I'm gonna pick the monoline brush out of the calligraphy category in the brush library. But since I'm using a Procreate brush for this, I have to duplicate it first. Otherwise, it's not going to let me combine. So I'm going to take this brush and put it in my outlines category that I made. Oops. Pick it up. Sometimes it's easier just to push with your other finger where you want it to go. And then I'm going to take one of my scatter brushes that I made in a different video, and let's pick this one. I'm going to just duplicate this one as well, pick it up, and put it in here. So now these are the two brushes I'm going to combine, two copies of brushes. So with one of them highlighted, you can take the next one and slide it to the right, and it'll do like a darker blue. and then you see combine comes up here. So you hit combine. Now these brushes are combined technically. We're gonna go in here. You see that there's one of the brushes here and then one of the brushes here. So you can make changes to either of these brushes as if you would when they're single brushes. And then once you do all the changes you want to do, you double click on one of them. And it brings up this, and it's got combine mode, which is like the blend modes that we talked about in another video, and sometimes in these categories there's blend modes as well. So depending on what you want to do, most of the time you do something like difference, which takes this brush, whatever's in this brush, out of here. So you see that if you make it bigger here, let me see. Clear. You can see that all that glitter part is actually being removed out of the monoline brush when you do that. Obviously, you know, you can do different things. There's different effects that you can make depending on the two brushes that you're using. So with the example that we're doing today, I'm going to do a difference one anyway, so that's why I'm showing you that. But this is, again, sky's the limit as far as the brushes you can combine and what kind of effects you can get. So this is just showing you the concept. And like I said in the intro, I'll be doing different brushes later on in my YouTube career. But right now I'm doing this beginner series, so I'm just explaining the concept. So, but this is something we're gonna do. So I just wanted to show you that. We're gonna do something completely different. So done. I'm just gonna delete this brush because that was just to show you. That's not what I'm doing. Now again, I'm in my outlines category. I'm just gonna add a new brush. And again, fixing the opacity issue that always comes up with one of these new brushes, because I don't want that on this one. So I'm taking that all the way down on Apple Pencil. Then I don't really need to make any changes for what I want to do, other than maybe I might put a little stabilization on there, streamline, because I'm going to use this to write letters and stuff probably. So I'm just going to move it up to like 70. And then I'm going to hit done. So that's going to be the first brush. Actually, let me go in and change the name of this to outline. Okay, so that's the first brush I'm making. Now what I'm going to do is just duplicate this brush. For this brush, I'm going to do something similar, have the similar brush that's inside of another brush. So this is the second one that was made up here, outline 2. And I mean, it really doesn't matter because they're both the same at this point. But I guess I want it to be named outline eventually, so I'll probably put this one on top. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to rename it. Anyway, so just like last time, I have this highlighted. I'm gonna drag this to the left so that they're both selected, combine. Then when I go inside, I'm gonna take the second one here and I'm gonna go down to properties. I'm just gonna take the maximum size and bring it down to, depends on how much, let's just do 50. I'll show you different versions in a minute, but that's 50. Then again, this is a really simple version. I'm not really doing anything else, but I do probably want to do, oh, stabilization's already, that's because I copied it, that's right, okay. So, never mind. So I'm going to take these two brushes again, highlight, and then double click, and then this will come up, and now I want to do difference again, so I'll go down to difference. Now you see that there's an outline in there, because this second one is smaller than this one, so it's got a smaller version of that inside of it. And then we did difference, so it takes that part out. So that's how you get an outline. So again, this is the very, very simple version. I'm gonna create a reset point just to have it. I'm gonna hit done, and then we're gonna test it out. It's on a black background, that's fine. I'll just use this white here. But you see that it creates an outline wherever you do. Now the only thing is if, let's say you were to be making a T and you pick up your stroke and you make another one to make the crossbar, you notice that it's not outlined like in the center there. So you would have to go in, if it bothers you, you would have to go in and erase those outlines. I'm doing it very quickly. I would do a better job if I was trying, but you get the point. So that's kind of annoying. So if you do pick up your brush at all, you're gonna have to deal with that. Otherwise, I mean, this looks fine the way it is. If you want it this way, stylize. If that's what you want, you can just leave it. Otherwise, you have to erase it. But anyway, so that is one version. Now I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do this. I'm going to duplicate this brush. And I'm going to go in here and go back to this brush again. Go down to size, and then you can make it really thin. So like a very thick outline on a thin line. So just to show you the difference here. Or you can do the opposite. I'll just leave those there. I'm going to duplicate this one again. Second brush, go down and make it a little bigger so that's a very thin outline. So that the inside is a little thicker than the outside. And you can also you can change other things about it, just like you do with other brushes. So you could also mess around with the color dynamics. So you're gonna wanna pick the top brush for this, the one that's the thicker outline brush. So you see that selected the top one, and go to color dynamics. And now you can change the hue and stuff, just as you would with any other brush. So let's clear the drawing pad. Now you see that it's got that colorful outline because you're going through all the different hues. Or you could do something like stroke, where it would be a different color every time you pick up your pencil. And again, you can change your saturation, lightness, darkness, and then secondary color, just like we did with all the other brushes. Again, if you haven't seen those, you should go back and watch them. But this is just like a colorful outline, like you could just do a regular, color as well. But this is just to do, like, change the color of the outline. So you can do that. You can change the shape, the size of the outline. And, using all those things that we've been through in the brush studio and these brush videos, you can, again, sky's the limit with what you can do on this pretty much. So, I just wanted to show you that real quick. And I will see you in the next video. All right, everyone, so that was a few different versions of the outline brush, which is a version of the dual brush feature that you can do on Procreate. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it was helpful for you as you learn how to make brushes. Now, I decided that this was going to be the last brush I was going to do in this Procreate for Beginners series that I'm doing. As I stated before in other videos, I'm probably going to be doing some more brushes later on, kind of sporadically throughout, whenever I upload to YouTube. But right now, in this series, this is the last brush I'm going to do. So that means that next we have animations coming up. So I think a lot of you are going to find that a little more intriguing and a little more advanced in the Procreate world. So hopefully you have a good foundation with every other video we've done to be able to work on animations. So we're going to start with an intro to animation video next. And I'm actually working on an animation right now to demonstrate how to do it as an intro. And then we're going to work on a few projects together as animations. And then after that, I do have my miscellaneous video that I've been talking about all this time. That's going to go over everything else that I haven't really touched on or have barely touched on while I've been teaching. A lot of the background stuff. So then after we're done with all of that, then the Procreate for Beginners series will technically be done. And then we're going to start working on projects. Now, the animations are going to kind of be an intro to that because those are going to be kind of projects on their own. So you'll kind of get like an intro to projects then too. But we're going to start working on, different projects that take a lot of these concepts together and show you how to use them as a whole in a project, in a practical way, rather than just looking at them individually. So that is coming up very soon. Thank you to all of you who have stayed here and waited patiently for us to get to some more practical things, and we are getting there. So I'm excited to start. So let's get this video done and let's get started on another one. See you later.